Welcome back to Pro Flight Paddle from Lehigh Country Club. I am Patty Hogan alongside David Broderick, and we are getting ready for our second featured match of the afternoon. Dave, you want to tell everybody who we get to see in this matchup?
Sure. Down at the bottom of the screen on the baseline, we have once again Scott Kaler and Casey Watts, and they will be taking on the 2018 APTA Men's National Champions, John Hughes and Mark Powers, who are they are at the baseline. We have John Hughes, the lefty, over there on the deuce side, and Mark Powers in the blue over on the ad side. And we got to see Scott and Casey play an earlier match, and it'll be interesting to see if maybe the long car ride, they had a little car lag that they can shake off, and it'll be a fun match, and it'll be interesting to see John and Mark, who've been playing really well lately.
So, Hughes and Powers, we're going to get a closer look up at the player profiles for Hughes and Powers, guys. We might not. Actually, we're just going to tell you about Hughes and Powers. As you said, Dave, 2018 national champions. They lost the semis last year in Darien 2022, Durant and Mitchell in the semis 3 and 4. They were finalists in 2019, losing 7-5 in the third set to Parsons and Araya, who went on for their national title win there. And they seem to be the team to beat right now. They seem to be peaking beautifully at this time of year for nationals, and from all reports of everybody who's seen them play, Dave, they seem to be dialed in. And just watching these guys, they are so routine oriented and pretty disciplined. They played a mixed match here first today after they played a little bit of Pro-Am with the members of Lehigh Country Club. And this is a treat for these members to get to see national champions up close.
Yeah, and it's there are a few members out there watching, and the weather's beautiful. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a fun match. The last match we saw was entertaining, and we see the difference with the warmer weather, how it changes the game. So it'll be interesting to see, because definitely Mark and John, they're not afraid to take swings at the ball and put some pace on it.
So briefly, a quick recap, the firmer recap, Dave. Broderick and Thomas Christian won the first match over Kaler and Watt. We had mixed play that you just caught a glimpse of a little bit. We had a second camera going up. We didn't have any scores, and we don't know the scores on that, but it was a treat to get to see Roxy Anika, really one of the great mixed paddle players among the women, one of the best ones, I think. She's a 3-time mixed national champ. Yeah. And her partner heading into nationals is Martina Andreikova. Martina is a national finals champion herself with Gabby Nicolescu, having won Darien, Connecticut over Dardis and Shea a couple years ago. So, those women are wonderful players, and they love this opportunity to get out there and play some mix with all these guys involved here today. So now for this match, Kaler and Watt. What adjustments do they make, Dave? You think they're going to be more comfortable? Because they just played, they did just play the men's match. And I think any adjustments they had to make, getting used to each other on the court again, they've made it.
Right.
And I think they're out here and they're thinking, oh my gosh, we're playing Hughes and Powers. We have the best teams out there.
Again, I think it's going to be good practice for them, and I think the more they play, they're going to work their way into into the match. And I think, because again, even in the last match that we saw them play, and I was just talking to Drew about it a little bit after, but they had some bad luck on some of the game points and big points. And
sure, a couple games went to that second deuce,
right.
And there were 2 faults actually by Kaler and Watt on a couple of those games, and that makes all the difference in the world. And that's where that double deuce, next point wins it, Dave,
Right.
does put a lot more pressure on you when you're the server.
Right.
I think that Hughes and Powers, everybody would expect that they would blow through this match against Kaler and Watt. No offense to Kaler and Watt, but they're just playing that well. And even though this is an exhibition match, Dave, those guys' trajectory and their training, what their eye on the prize is the prize that's going to be awarded on April 11th. And every step of the way, a practice match like this is important to them.
It looks like we're about to get started. Again, we want to give a big shout out to Ari Dada here at Lehigh Country Club for putting on this event, and wonderful host. Make sure everything is perfect for all the members and the guests, and does a really good job putting on events.
Hey, and kudos to the chef here. Oh boy, we just had a culinary treat here. I think one of the best meals we've ever gotten on a pro flight, at a pro flight event.
Yeah, no, the food was pretty good, and they have a full bar going out there, and
Powers Hughes to serve.
the music's on.
Yep, great hospitality here, and that's what this club's known for, and it's what distinguishes itself here in the Lehigh Valley. We're in for a treat. Mark Powers, #1 for Yale, 4 straight years. To start this off.
Love.
And you see right off the first point how much John Hughes makes that ball jump in the warmer weather, where he could really bite into the ball to create spin.
Yeah, I love watching Hughes and Powers hit their overheads. I don't think I would love it if I was out on the court against them. Hughes developed that kick kind of, kick out slider overhead, and it really was a huge difference in one of the defining parts of their games that allowed them to become 2018 national champs. It's for all the club players. You see how Mark Powers in red just got out of the way there. He easily could have hit that overhead.
Right.
But their strategy is clearly to go into the deuce court, go after Casey Watt out here in the early going, and let John Hughes overhead take over.
40 love.
Again, I think we're going to see long points
40-15.
again because of the weather and the ball being so lively.
Yep, and your comment earlier, Dave, just a lot of balls you just let go through. If you cannot stick a solid volley, you're just going to let that ball go through, rebound off that back screen. It'll come out, at least a third into the court. No sun anymore, Dave. It's kind of clouded up, so that's helped cool things off slightly here.
We even saw that point with the transition shot where Hughes and Powers hit it
40-30.
through, but they hit it so well that they knew it was coming off that they didn't even try to take over the net again. All right, and we have a 1-0 lead for Powers Hughes, and we'll be right back after a commercial break.
Success takes hard work. Making success a legacy takes discipline. PPAC Private. Your legacy, our discipline.
We're back on Pro Flight, Lehigh Country Club. I'm Patty Hogan alongside Dave Broderick. Our second matchup here. It's a real treat. Mark Powers in the ad court in the red shirt alongside John Hughes. Exciting year for John Hughes and his wife. They're expecting a doubles team, Dave.
Oh, how nice. Very nice. Saw Mark and John out on the golf course earlier today as well. Seemed like they were having fun out there.
They, the last Pro Flight event, was it last year, Dave, when Kaler teamed up, kind of a last minute switch,
15:30.
played with Sven Burrs, who had to pull out this morning because of his back, and they didn't they get a win over Hughes and Powers? Was that at Navasink, I believe?
I think it was, yeah.
So that's the thing. I mean, like I said, this is an exhibition, but none of these guys want to lose any match,
Right.
whether it's in a tournament or an exhibition.
I think Scott and Casey just have to settle in a little bit, be a little bit more patient, wait for maybe one more ball. But it's kind of tough when, you know, you have all these teams putting, I mean, look at that shot, another slash backhand overhead into the net.
He learned that. He just got that shot from Roxy Anika. You saw her do it against
earlier,
Drew
yeah.
in mixed. I don't think that's where Mark got it, but they have the same shot.
He must have been watching the other YouTube channel.
That's right.
Look, I think this is the tempo Scott and Casey want to play more of. Slowing it down, not giving Powers and Hughes a lot of looks.
Right. Hughes missed a couple of forehands here in the early go. You know, I feel like they'll test him and measure his confidence level. See that big swinging forehand from John Hughes, Dave, a little bit of a looser finish on that topspin, getting a little bit more topspin on the ball.
Game, Powers, Hughes.
All right.
And this is the thing, Dave, no disrespect to Kaler and Watt here, but when you talk about the upper echelon in the sport of platform tennis, Hughes and Powers are in that a small circle of those guys who are just incredible. And, you know, if you're Watt and Kaler, Dave, and you're their coach now, besides get let cord winners, like what is their strategy here?
Well, again, I just
15
think
love.
they've got to settle in a little bit, be a little bit more patient, not go for such big shots like we heard in the last match. You know, Drew saying to Tomas one time, you know, why are you hitting it so hard? It doesn't have to be hit so hard. Just get it in.
How about that little touch shot from Powers?
Yeah.
Just out
30
of
off.
the reach of Kaler, who's about 6'2". Talk about
The other thing
touch.
I was going to say, too, you know, after watching the last match, I think Casey and Scott have to work on their jumping timing a little bit. It seems it's a little off.
30-15.
Patty, one thing I want to mention to our viewers that are watching, you know, even again, we keep talking about the weather and how it changes play. One of the things I think you saw that ball go the wrong way. Interesting.
What do you mean the wrong way, Dave?
So normally when Hughes spins the ball, it
30
usually
off.
kicks to the left, where that one went dead right. So he put a little bit different spin on it.
Yep.
But, you know, some of the people at home watching may be thinking, you know,
40-30.
well, why go for that shot? You know, they're missing a little bit more than normal. And again, we talked about because in the warmer weather, you can put more spin. You can end points a little bit quicker
Game,
if you can
Powers,
spin the
Hughes.
ball. So, you know, if you think they're making a few more mistakes, that's probably why.
We'll be right back after this
You
break
guys
on
could
Pro
take a
Flight
minute,
Paddle.
They said, so you guys could take a minute on the changeovers.
At Veritext, it's not just a deposition. It's the witness that will win your trial. It's the reason you became a lawyer. It's your first case as a partner. It's that case that will make you partner. It's for the families who lost something It's for that groundbreaking patent. It's for one of the largest companies in the world, or one of the smallest. It's something that will change someone's life forever. At Veritex, it's never just a deposition. We understand it's so.
And we are back at Lehigh Country Club. Patty Hogan alongside Dave Broderick. Second match here between Kaler and Watt.
12:30.
Hughes and Powers. Hughes and Powers, not surprisingly, off to a strong 3-0 start here.
And I think now coming out in this game,
12:40.
Casey's rushing a little bit. I think he's got to just take his time a little bit.
Casey's not played a ton of paddle this year, Dave,
15:40.
for different reasons, and with COVID certainly impacting, you know, where people can go and play and limitations on draws and everything. So I think when you don't play, the
Game,
serve
Powers,
is
Hughes.
tough, especially when you're looking up and you see
4-7-0.
John Hughes or Mark Powers returning it. So Mark Powers serving 4-0. But the pace of play is just way too fast here.
Yeah.
And I always think, like, if I'm outmatched in a match early on, I got to go to lobbing. I've got to
Right.
slow down play
13 love.
because I can look at my watch in 5 minutes and, or what is it, 7 minutes, and they've lost 4 games already. They got to go into like a stalling
Right.
pattern and just put a ton of balls in play.
Almost take, and I don't even think it would be to take Hughes and Powers out of their rhythm, because we don't know if they're in a rhythm.
They've got to find their own rhythm here. But you don't just get it with a hit and a miss.
Right.
There's a good,
There we go.
good timed,
Well-timed.
well-timed shot from Kaler.
They've missed
Yeah, they're just
a
forcing
lot
it.
of
30 love.
forehands, you know, by a foot. You know, they're not even.
But again, it's because of their
Right.
opponents
they're
on the
putting
other
pressure.
side.
Yeah.
And that's what I said. I don't expect any letdown from Hughes and Powers. If they could win this match 0-0, Dave, they're
Right.
going to try to win it 0-0. Little cat and mouse. Wow. Perfectly placed ball
Yeah,
off
that
that
was
back
pretty-
screen, coming up that side. Didn't hit the side
40
screen.
love.
That was a pretty good overhead.
So to go up 5-0, Powers and Hughes. Good rip.
40-15.
Found that vulnerable spot as a volleyer. John Hughes is a lefty, just over to his left side, up a little bit above his hip. Perfect spot from Kaler. He now needs 47 more of those.
Right.
Look at that volley from Powers, just closed in, stayed calm, let the ball just reach his paddle. Great rip from Casey.
40-30.
Hughes got caught a little bit off the net on
Right.
that volley.
Game, Powers, Hughes.
We'll be right back on Pro Flight Paddle.
Kaler Watt to serve. 0-5.
Hey, Dave. Since 2009, Midnight Paddle Tennis has been outfitting players across the country with the coolest paddle swag ever to go along with their uniquely designed line of platform tennis paddles for all levels of players. In addition to their unique line of paddles and apparel, Midnight Paddle Tennis creates custom items for teams and special events. It's always a paddle adventure, or any kind of adventure, with Midnight. Shop the cool gear at www.midnightpaddletennis.com.
All right, and welcome back to live action here at Lehigh Country Club for Pro Flight Paddle. You're watching John Hughes and Mark Powers take on Casey Watts and Scott Kaler in the second match of our 3-match round-robin coverage today. Oh, what a shot.
All right, that could be the
That
beginning.
could be the turning point right there.
That feels
Team off.
really good to Casey Watt to get those guys to miss. The Powers forehand, Dave. One of my favorite shots to watch in the game. He just loads up with his legs. He's got absolute perfect timing on the shot.
15 all.
He hits it so solid, too.
$15.30.
There's just another well-placed drive by John Hughes.
You know, something you're seeing here, great teams in the sport, they know when to let their partner hit the ball. And like even on the baseline here, Powers is letting John Hughes come over a little bit more. And Powers has this incredible forehand.
30 all.
Yet, you know, when he feels John's presence and John has a look on a ball,
30 all.
you see Powers doesn't even stick out his paddle.
Right.
There's no confusion. And he's just sort of holding the trigger on his own shot to allow John to just, you know, execute his shot.
So a really good overhead there by Scott Kaler. He's had quite a few balls today out of court.
Yeah, great serve. Spun it over toward Mark Powers and able to
40-30.
follow up with a drop shot. That's all Kaler and Watt have to do to win a point, Dave.
You
All
heard-
right, we got a game point here for Kaler Watt,
Game,
All right.
Kaler Watt,
and they're on the boards.
5-1.
All right, John Hughes serving, up 5-1. You know, Dave, we talked about how Watt and Kaler have mistimed a few shots, but right there, Kaler snuck up that side screen, timed it beautifully.
Yep.
I actually think he should do more of that, because I feel like John Hughes gets settled in that overhead, and you're playing too far back too often.
Right.
Sometimes you become a little more
Club
vulnerable.
15.
And again, you're just looking, you're seeing just how much spin they're putting on the ball. You know, you can't really
15 all.
tell watching it on TV, but
You could
the-
just tell right there that lefty spin
yeah,
serve
the
from
amount,
Hughes.
the amount of spin that they're putting on the ball with that serve, yeah.
He just made Kaler's forehand look like mine.
$30-15.
Yep, and you heard Kaler say not by much. I mean, they gotta lob some deep balls here.
Look at the amount of spin. Look how he's loading up his legs.
Casey's doing a great job of handling the spins.
$40-15.
And Powers, I mean, just sensed how deep Kaler was. He was really against that back screen, and Powers got that overhead to just die
Right.
on the back screen, causing an error.
You, me.
40-30.
They're so nice. You, me. They're giving each other a chance there. So we have a set point for Hughes and Powers. And we have the first set for Hughes and Powers,
Game,
6-1.
First set. Powers Hughes. 6-1.
So we're back. Pro Flight, thanks to our sponsors, PPAC Wealth Management, Veritex, great supporters of Pro Flight Paddle. I'm Patty Hogan alongside Dave Broderick. Hughes and Powers just won that first set, 6-1. Little sign of hope from Kaler and Watt there, Dave, and that Kaler did to grab that game down 5-love, and let's hope they can make this really competitive here in the second set. I mean, I think they've made some great adjustments, and I don't think Casey's, he hasn't seen the likes of the spins off the overheads from John Hughes and Mark Powers. I mean, when you don't see it, it takes a long time to adjust to it.
Then we see another Lecord winner, maybe
15-love.
a sign of good things to come.
15-all.
Casey hasn't played that much, and I think
15-30.
when you don't, we talked about serving, it is so daunting to look up and know that if you don't serve this ball deep, you're going to get a missile coming back at you. So it forces these guys to go for more of this, and you're going to see some faults. There's Kaler right on top of the net, Dave, for another one of his volleys. He knows that drive's coming, and right on top of the net.
30-40.
And Patty, we have a score from our second mixed doubles match. We had Martina and Drew defeating Tomas and Roxy 8-6 in the mixed doubles match going on over on court number 2.
Another close mixed doubles match. So Hughes and Powers win the first game of the second set. We'll be right back on Pro Flight Paddle.
Success takes hard work. Making success a legacy takes discipline. PPAC Private. Your legacy, our discipline.
And just like that, we're back. Lehigh Country Club.
Again, big thank you to Aridata, all the local sponsors here.
Our national sponsors are great. They're supportive Pro Flight. Local sponsors.
15-love.
What a fun opportunity. As you can kind of hear the crowd in the background. Kind of evenly split, Dave, which impresses me. They're loving the mixed action on the far side of the other side of the paddle hut.
Yeah, no, it's been a lot of really good paddle going on out there, and again, I think for everyone here, it's a good opportunity to get some competitive play in before nationals are coming up. For some, this might be the best practice before the nationals.
30-15.
Well, there's no pressure like that of nationals and doing well there. You have to be prepared physically, mentally. And
30-all.
You build on the play throughout the year, and this year for a lot of teams, it's not been much play, but the season still started in September and October, and it's gone throughout, Dave. The APTA has promoted safe play all around the country, and so the culmination will be in April
40-30.
in the Summit, New Jersey area, with nationals on April 10th and 11th.
Game, Powers Hughes. 2-0.
And that won't finish the season because the finale of the Junior National Championships will be on April 17th. And Dave, as you know, we had a record number of kids enrolled this year. We had 360 kids sign up. We ended up playing qualifying events in 4 states. And we have invited all the qualifying teams to the Junior Nationals finale in the Summit area on the 17th.
Junior National is always a fun event. Watch the kids playing and seeing some of the future stars of platform tennis.
Dave, the boys 10 and under New Jersey qualifier final was right.
15-30.
It was at Canoebrook, and the kids walk out to the court, and one of the kids just starts serving. No warm up. There's a lot to be said for that.
They get right to it.
$30 all. 30 all.
Yeah, Kaler needs to hold right here.
Yeah.
That was a heck of a first volley that Kaler. Hughes hit a beautiful dipping return to serve. That's one of the things, Dave, when you watch these top guys play, they make volleying look so easy, and it is the most difficult thing for most level players. Oh, my Lord.
I mean, honestly, that shot deserved to go in. There's so
40-30.
many great gets in that point.
Oh, my gosh. And the adjustments he was able to make, maintain his balance, and even take a swing at that ball.
Game, Kaler Watt.
All
Crazy.
right.
We'll be right back on Pro Flight Paddle.
Powers Hughes to serve.
At Veritext, it's not just a deposition. It's the witness that will win your trial. It's the reason you became a lawyer. It's your first case as a partner. It's that case that will make you partner. It's for the families who lost something. It's for that groundbreaking patent. It's for one of the largest companies in the world, or one of the smallest. It's something that will change someone's life forever. At Veritext, it's never just a deposition. We understand.
Welcome
15
back.
all.
Welcome back to Pro Flight, Lehigh Country Club. Patty Hogan alongside Dave Broderick. Second match of our 3 men's matches here
15-30.
today. 2018 National Champions, Hughes and Powers. Pretty close to top form here.
15-40.
Winning the first set 6-1. Up 2-1 on Scott Kaler and Casey Watt. In case you didn't watch earlier, Kaler and Watt
Game, Kaler Watt.
teamed up this morning,
2-all.
Dave. Incredible story. Sven Burris had to pull out this morning.
Drove from Pittsburgh.
Sven and Scott Kaler had teamed up last year and taken out Durant and Mitchell in an incredible match. They were going
Low
to
15.
make a go of it here today, and Sven had to pull out, and Scott Kaler was on his way here and called Casey and turned back.
15 all.
And they made the 4.5-hour trek from Pittsburgh to play today. We'll see Kaler in Nationals in 2 weeks with Philip Rams.
Great catch there by Casey.
$15-30.
Yeah. Kaler's bummed he missed that shot. That was,
Yeah, and he
that was
doesn't
one of his
normally miss
easiest
that.
ones he had today. Oh my
Great
Lord.
hands, great hands.
Way to hold his ground, and he just kind of started turning and praying. He got his body sideways, Dave.
30 all.
I like that move on the
That's it.
volley when you know you're about to get hit. Yeah, Kaler's doing a really good job helping Casey out with the return of serves. Casey's a little bit of a struggle on his serve, and Scott's really stepping up there at the net, and he loves to close in and has no fear of any drive from what I can see.
Yeah, you notice this game he's been cutting more balls off at the net.
And, you know, Casey hasn't played as much, and when you don't play competitive
30-40.
play, you know, I don't know if he's feeling it. It's a warm day out here. Sometimes the miss, you know, comes because your legs are starting not to feel so great. I don't think so, though. Casey's a warrior, Dave. See, Dave, the height on Mark Powers' lob that he threw out there?
Uh-huh.
I
Yep.
love that, and I think that's what those guys do, and that's part of one of the
Then
things.
he throws up a lower one to
Oh
speed up
my.
play there.
I love their combination of lobbing. And they're fixated on lobbing. They have all the offensive drives, but they lob phenomenally well, and we'll be right back on Pro Flight Paddle.
Game Powers Hughes.
And that's where I like that they air it out.
And then the next lobby goes lower.
Right,
Yeah.
like I would love to see Drew air it out a little bit. Just like I feel like he goes. Not all the time, Dave. I just think
Right.
occasionally it's a good thing. Yep. Back at Lehigh Country Club, Pro Flight Paddle. Second set, Hughes and Powers up 3-2 on Kaler and Watt. They won the first set, as you can see, 6-1. That was a great move from Casey Watt. You, John,
Love 15.
John and Mark appreciated it. And that's kind of the risky move that, Watt almost has to take to try to come up with any kind of offense for their team out here. Because if he plays too far back, too defensive, there's just too many
Right.
kinds of spins that are coming his way from John Hughes and Mark Powers, mostly from John Hughes.
Yep. We see another really good point from Casey.
Love 30.
There. Patient, hit all good solid shots.
This would be a gigantic break if they could get this game. Ooh.
15-30.
Wow. Kaler's bummed he missed that, and he had
Yeah.
a lot of wide open court. But he did go over the lowest part of the net, even though the line was open. Dave, we talk about quiet volleys, still volleys. You just see it out here with all these guys. They just hold their paddle firmly, and they just wait for the ball to contact their paddle.
Right. Just look at that spin that Hughes and Powers are putting on the ball.
30 all. 30 all.
It just hits the paddle and grabs it. And
Yeah, a couple of good rips from Kaler.
yeah,
30-40.
had a couple of good looks there and took advantage of it.
Yeah, Hughes and Powers make you cover a lot of court,
Yeah.
as you can see. There we have it. Huge break for Kaler and Watt, Dave.
Yep. to
Tie
bring us
things up. Yeah, 3-0.
all square, 3-all, second set
Game Kaler Watt.
here at Lehigh Country Club.
What is it now? I'm sorry.
3-all.
And that was a brilliant shot from Kaler, Dave, because he had taken a couple drives cross court to Powers' backhand. And, I was thinking, does he try for the seam up the middle? But he actually waited and then pulled the trigger up the line and definitely, caught John Hughes not thinking that's where the ball was going to go.
15 love.
And so much of volleying success is that you're looking for the ball to end up on a spot. You kind of anticipate it and
Right.
set yourself up.
15 all.
Yeah.
15-30.
Yeah, and just a brilliant spot off his right side down low, and you heard him say, let it go through, meaning just let that ball go off the back screen. Perfect spot from Powers. Powers. He just
Yeah,
doesn't rush a shot, Dave. He's just Mr. Cool.
they've been hitting good spots on their drives, Powers and Hughes.
Well, I think you see a lot of club level players when they see the ball that they know they're going to drive, they like run through the ball, where I think it's a perfect display where you just see them waiting, perfectly timed, hit the ball. And they're really waiting to the last second because they could always throw up a drive at the last, a lob at the last second. I think club level players commit much earlier on their shots.
All right, and we're back to 4-3, and we'll be right back after
Game,
this
Powers,
commercial
Hughes.
break.
This is a good set. And we are back at Lehigh Country Club on Pro Flight Paddle. I'm Patty Hogan alongside David Broderick, pro at Director of Rackets, Everything Rackets, Fiddler's Elbow Country Club. Dave, much better second set if you're a Kaler Watt fan.
Yeah, no, they've had some good return games, cut down on some of the unforced
15 love.
errors. I think they slowed themselves down a little bit and just, went kind of back to the basics of let's keep more balls in play. But again, with all the spin and pace that Hughes and Powers generate, it's, easier said than done.
And the thing I was commenting before about the lobbing from Hughes and Powers. They lob so well. They make you play off the net, and they've been able to then catch Casey in particular off the net more. Kaler is really known for being a phenomenal volleyer on top of the net. Casey's been caught a few times, but I only say caught because he kind of got set up because of the lobbing, backing him up, and then these guys just pulling the trigger and making him try to come up with a shoestring volley from 2 steps inside the service line.
15 all.
Good patience there. Oh, we see another one.
I can't believe someone didn't go run and get that ball for John Hughes. Did it head toward those cars on display thanks to the sponsors, Dave?
I think it
Maybe
did.
it went under a tire.
Uh-oh. Someone gonna have to crawl under the car?
And Dave, after this match, what's next?
So we will have one more match of Broderick
15-30.
and Tomas Christian will take on Hughes and Powers in the third and final match of this round robin format here at Lehigh Country Club.
$30 all.
And again, as much as we just talked about how patient it was, they just lost a little
How
patience
patient
there.
they had been
Yep.
to kind of get back into this match. And Kaler has pulled the trigger pretty quickly a couple times here. And you're right, they got the break on John Hughes to tie it up 3-all. And, you hope for their sake that they could continue with that tempo. gosh. And you can just see Casey, like that spin has kicked over all day long. All of a sudden, took a little something off that. Didn't quite come off the screen.
30-40.
Yeah, now we get a little wad out of the ad court here. And I was just thinking, oh, Kaler's back on his favorite side.
Right.
That's deuce.
Here we go. I think he needs to slow down a little bit here.
Yeah. You're right. He's had some really fast-paced serving
15-40.
games. Just by his own, he's not able to slow himself down. Yep, he called the ball out on. So, and just like that, Dave,
All right.
Game, set, match.
we missed one game there. Everyone did. And Hughes and Powers just closed that out 6-1, 6-3.
Powers, Hughes.
And we
6-1,
will be
6-3.
back in a couple of minutes with our third featured match of the night from Pro. Speaking of midnight, we're going to get out of here for midnight, but Midnight Paddle. They're providing all the great swag that you see these players. All the swag. Look at those paddles, the golden paddle that Drew Broderick's playing with, Pro Flight. They've been around since 2009. Mo Morrison. They do custom stuff for your teams, any kind of apparel you could ever dream of. Go to midnightpaddle.com, midnightpaddletennis.com for all your cool swag.